I want us to deep dive. I want us to deep dive into the trends because I have seen so much.
Yes, there's so much going on. With ashwagandha, yes, there's some evidence. There's been randomized control trials that have shown that it can reduce cortisol levels by about 27.9%. So there is some evidence, but it's modest.
Anything that you're taking, whether to support, to prevent, or to support treatment, to prevent a disease or to cure a disease, please engage your healthcare provider, be it your doctor or it could be your pharmacist.
Gut health is a very big topic because our gut is like, we call it our second mind. It influences our mood, our immunity, and just how we feel generally.
When you give someone a broad spectrum antibiotic, it ends up
Wipes
clearing almost
everything.
everything. And so there has to be a restoration of gut microbiome for someone to resume normalcy in terms of digestion, their gut health, and all that.
Now to one of my most favorite ones, because the way you said you used creatine, even though there's a time I almost fell for this one. Detox teas.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
girls, we are so susceptible.
No.
One critical question that I need the public to be asking whoever is selling them, which toxins are we detoxing?
Good question.
Yes, so
as I like to put it, they're cute, expensive laxatives. That's all they are.
That's all
yes,
they are.
you're just paying
there
for a
to-
product that'll make you go to the toilet. That's all.
Many times if I when I'm driving, you hear the people who are marketing in the matatus, dawa ya kusafisha figo, dawa ya kusafisha damu.
I always say medicines are poisons if not used within control. So if you use an extra dose, you put your organs at risk.
Welcome to Inside the Capsule, where we will be taking you beyond the label, beyond the prescription, and into the facts shaping your health for the curious mind who wants real answers and the confidence to take charge of their health. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Capsule podcast, where we are making health make sense one conversation at a time. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've been part of this journey, thank you for being along with us. If you've not, we have previous episodes that we have done. We are currently at our halfway mark. This is our 5th episode, so thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Dr. Sonia Thuita. I am your host for this podcast. Now, in today's episode, we have a very, very interesting conversation loading, and I think it's going to be quite an insightful one. We want to deep dive into some of the conversations that have been happening everywhere, online, in your chamas, in your WhatsApp groups, everywhere across the board. And one of the things that we have come to see across the, especially on the timelines, on TikTok, on Instagram, is we have health trends. Every few months, we have these health trends that come up promising you better health. It could be a supplement. It could be a natural remedy. These health hacks that people come and you're like, you know what? You can fix your life. Your diabetes can be cured. You can increase your muscle mass and these big, big claims. But today we want to really deep dive. We want to focus and see and zoom into each of these trends and see, is there actual evidence supporting these trends? Are we able to separate fact from fiction? Because there's content, but what is the evidence? What is the truth behind these claims that are made online? Sometimes you're seeing things marketed by marketers, not doctors, not professionals with actual training to be able to speak to you on certain topics. And that's what we want to look at today, separating fact from fiction, to bust some of the myths that you've been able to see. And you'll be able to hear from pharmacists, who we call medication experts, supplement experts. They understand the product so that you can be able to make an informed decision for your health. So let's take a glimpse into the minds of these experts, and I want to turn my attention to them so that they can introduce themselves and we see who they are and what they have to say to us today. So I want to start today with Dr. Barbara. So Barbara, you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Sonia.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Barbara Solomon Muraya, a clinical pharmacist with a master's in clinical pharmacy. So I studied in the University of Nottingham and worked for Walgreen Boots Alliance in the UK for quite a bit. And then I came back to Kenya and founded my own pharmacy chain called Georgiolani Pharmacy.
Nice.
And I'm glad to be here today.
Nice.
And I'm excited about the topic.
Fantastic. What are some of the substances you have in your farm?
So we are at Georgiolani, so we do the typical, of course, we do over-the-counter medications, prescription drugs, but we also do blood pressure testing, blood glucose testing, nutrition, family planning, ear piercing, and the list goes on.
Nice.
Yes.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for coming to set. All right. Dr. Libert, please, you can proceed and introduce yourself.
All right. Thank you, Sonia. Already you've introduced me by mentioning my name.
Yes.
But just for clarity, I'm Dr. Libert Bethwell. I'm a pharmacist. I wear many caps, but I think I'll highlight 3 major caps. One is being a pharmacist. I'm trained, licensed, and registered to practice in Kenya as a pharmacist. And under that title, also I serve in PSK as the chair of Government Affairs, Advocacy and Policy Sectoral Committee.
Yes.
The second cap that I put on is that of a medical trainer.
Yeah.
And that is in the space of learning and development, especially adult learning.
Yes.
Which is my current occupation.
All
That
right.
is in Harlis Limited, one of the leading distributors in the country, where I work as a medical training manager
Yes.
for East Africa
Yeah.
region. And then the third cap is that of a healthcare educator. And through that, I have 2 YouTube channels.
Nice.
One is patient-facing, where I educate patients or the public on some of the critical health information.
Yes.
And the other one is called the Medical Hub. The first one is called Health Desk with Dr. Libert.
Yes, please
And then
subscribe.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then the second one is called the Medical Hub, that is mainly targeted for healthcare professionals.
Yes.
In terms of personal development and career guidance.
Yeah.
So that is among the many caps I put on. Those
Yes.
are the 3 that stands out.
Yes,
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you for that. You've had the plugs for the YouTube channels. Please go subscribe, because if you're looking for health content, please listen to people who actually went to school to study. So you'll be able to get content on a variety of topics. I'm sure, Libert, you've done a couple of topics and you're still producing, so that you can be informed, so that you can take better care of your health. Fantastic. Straight into today's episode and today's conversation. Personally, I'm so excited, guys.
Yeah.
I'm
Same,
so
yeah.
excited
Yeah,
for
very
this conversation
interesting.
because I am an avid consumer of social media content. And sometimes, you see things and you're like, where? And I think one of the things that I'm so happy right now is the public and patients are very informed and they have access to information like never before. And so
Definitely.
it even makes us need to up our game in terms of how we present the information and even the content that we have, because they have access to be able to go search for themselves. So before we get straight into that sense, I want to maybe ask Dr. Barbara, I can start with you. What is one thing, especially because you're very patient-facing in your role, what is one thing you've seen that has changed over the years of how patients come and seek for health or ask questions about their health?
Yes, as you said, nowadays patients are so informed.
Yeah.
So before they come to you, they've already done research on Google, on
Yes.
ChatGPT,
Yes,
on
yes,
TikTok. So they're just
Yeah.
coming to you for clarification
Yes.
or confirmation. So they're not coming with no knowledge.
no knowledge,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they already have the fact. It's just like what is going to work. They're basically coming to ask you if it's going to work for them.
For them.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
more individualistic.
Yeah.
But people nowadays are so informed. That's how things have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
In
you
the
seen-
last few years.
Have you seen any trend that maybe has surprised you or any, especially with now how healthcare has been evolving? Have you seen any new way that maybe a trend that has surprised you?
I think positively, I think
Yes.
people have just become more into wellness. You know,
Yeah.
like you'll see a lot of movements where people are not even drinking alcohol anymore,
Yeah.
especially young people.
Yes.
On weekends, you see people jogging and running.
And
so I
running,
think
the run clubs, like,
exactly. So that
yeah.
has really changed, and I think it's a very good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Libert, where do you feel like healthcare is heading now with these changes? And you're an educator. Of course, you're also a pharmacist who has had patient-facing experience. Where do you feel like now, the way you've mapped the landscape, where do you feel like now healthcare is heading in that regard?
Thank you. That's a very good question.
Yes.
And when I look at healthcare, I look at it from 2 fronts. There's curative healthcare, and
Yeah.
then there's preventive healthcare. And where we are currently, especially, geographically, even
Yeah.
as a nation,
Yeah.
we're in Africa, of course, we're in Kenya. And we know our health system is designed. Initially, it was designed to cater for communicable diseases, malaria and whatnot. But we've seen a rise in non-communicable diseases, especially those that are related to lifestyle changes. And what I've seen, based on what Dr. Barbara has mentioned, people are becoming more aware because there's access to health information online and whatnot.
Yes.
The scales are tipping towards preventive healthcare. Where we talk about now wellness, we talk about supplements, people are becoming more open to preventive healthcare.
care.
So that is what I see the future of healthcare heading towards. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. I want us to deep dive. I want us to deep dive into the trends because I have seen so much.
Yes,
And I
there's
know-
so much going on, so many new products.
There's so much, and personally, I don't practice in a patient-facing setting, but
Yes.
I know there's so much, and there's so much misinformation. And today
That
we are
too.
definitely busting those myths. So we are going to look at these trends and look at them from the lens of truth. And I want to start with one of the most popular ones. I even have people who I work with who use this one faithfully.
Yes.
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha is one of the most famous herbal remedies and supplements. I was searching and I was watching on TikTok, and there was a Nigerian lady who was calling it like the she devil. I don't know why she referred to it in that way. She's
Interesting.
calling it the she devil.
Yeah.
And she's explaining how like it completely numbs your emotion. You don't feel joy. Like it could be the happiest day of your life. It can be a wedding day, you're graduating, it numbs. But also if you're going through, from the flip side, if you're going through anxiety, stress, people who
Yes.
really suffer from that, it also numbs our emotion. And I think that's what, more than its other benefits that people have spoken about, I know that's one thing that has really gotten people to jump on the ashwagandha button. So I just want to ask you, maybe you can tell us a bit about that herbal
Definitely.
remedy. Yes.
So in terms of what that lady is saying, I think a lot of these products online, they over-exaggerate what they do. It's just for marketing purposes, obviously.
Yeah.
So ashwagandha is what we call an adaptogen.
Yes.
So what it does in the body, it's from a plant. So it's basically extracted and it helps to just help your body resist stress.
Yes.
So with ashwagandha, yes, there's some evidence. There's been randomized controlled trials that have shown that it can reduce cortisol levels by about 27.9%. So there is some evidence, but it's modest.
Yeah.
So one of the effects that have been mentioned or studied is definitely help with sleep, reduction in cortisol, and with stress. Yeah, but I wouldn't call it a magic pill.
Yeah.
I think what you see online sometimes, as I said, is people are just over-exagerating it.
Yeah.
It is shown to work,
Yeah.
but it's not that crazy.
Yeah, it's not that
Yes.
big. And with the sleep component, does it work? I know magnesium glycinate is another thing that has really been talked about for sleep. Ashwagandha versus magnesium glycinate for sleep. But I know magnesium is more for sleep than for anxiety.
Yes, and for muscles,
Yeah.
but ashwagandha is more marketed towards anxiety. Yes, sleep is an additional benefit, but the more of the target is now to reduce stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
So what I'd tell people, if you're going to take ashwagandha, number one, the form it comes in and the strength. So there's different brands and different companies, but if you're going to look for ashwagandha, look for the root. So the
root
root
itself.
extract. That's the best version, or basically the best absorbed to cause now the effects.
Yeah.
And then also the dosing. So even in the studies, what they studied was ashwagandha 300 milligrams twice a day for about 60 days. Yeah. So that's what the study that's the study that was done.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to dose, that's the dosing you should follow. But also people just need to be aware, of course, if you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, to avoid it, obviously.
Yeah.
And if you have issues with your thyroid or blood sugar. So of course, if you are diabetic or you have thyroid problems, don't take ashwagandha.
Yeah.
And also the study was only done for 60 days. So they even recommend don't take it long term for months on end. Take it for 60 days continuously and no longer. Yeah.
And
just
I've seen
because of the
people
studies.
using it almost indefinitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So past that, the studies are not clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And because it's of course natural, it's a root, does natural always mean safe?
That's another, I think, thing marketers are using. Just because something says natural doesn't mean it's safe.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's effective. Doesn't mean it's risk-free.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just where it's come from nature.
Yeah.
But it could be anything,
Yeah.
So natural does not mean safe.
It doesn't
Yeah.
always.
Sometimes it's just used as a marketing gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. And I'm sure people would probably be curious. When we say the natural, you've talked about the natural form of ashwagandha. Is this purchased in pharmacies? You see people, all sorts of people selling everywhere. There are
Yes.
TikTok clinics and people marketing from their houses.
Exactly.
People selling from gunias, from anywhere. Where is a safe place
So
to ensure you're getting like a sure bet safe version for yourself?
I think definitely a registered pharmacy.
Yeah.
Don't just go to any herbal store or anywhere that's just advertising health products, because you need to know that this product is of quality, it's safe, and then always, of course, read the ingredient list. Where has it been manufactured? And go and do your research, because nowadays there are millions of products out there, millions of companies.
So many.
Yeah, and different brands will have different efficacies and etc.
Nice.
So, but always just go to a registered medical establishment, specifically a pharmacy, because even the person who's selling it to you is educated enough to explain, the
And
things
give
you
you the
need to know,
proper
and give you the
dosing.
proper dosing, ask you the right questions.
Yeah.
Because let's say now I said you're a diabetic and you
Yeah.
go and purchase ashwagandha, it can affect your sugar levels.
Yeah.
If you have thyroid issues and you go and you buy it, something can happen
Yeah.
to you. So it's very important, like where you're purchasing from. And research always.
Yeah, and many times actually you realize when they are marketing these things online, they don't talk about if you're a diabetic, if you have thyroid problems. They just say, if you have anxiety, the most catchy things, because it's like, most people probably are suffering from anxiety, stress levels through the roof right now, the economy. So it's like everybody is like, okay, you've mentioned all the things I'm struggling with, but there's this hidden side that you don't even know. Then you take this product that is promised to help you, and it ends up adversely
Harming you, actually, yes. Instead of helping you, it'll harm you.
It ends up harming you.
Yes.
And then that's the point they come to now, the proper healthcare professionals, and we're like, why didn't you just start here?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just start here?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think before we even look at the next end, I wanted to ask something. Are these these nutraceuticals, these supplement products, are they regulated, or how do people know? Because there are very many brands. I think we've just said there are very many brands of these products. How do we ensure that people know maybe like a brand is like a genuine brand, or it's a legitimate product?
Okay.
Look at that. Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
And I like the perspectives of Dr. Barbara.
Yeah.
And maybe just to add before I come back to that question in
Yes.
terms of regulation of these products.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen happening is people delegating or outsourcing their healthcare to influencers, which is quite expensive. Because an influencer hasn't spent time in school.
Yeah.
They don't know, unless they're healthcare influencers, that is
Yes.
okay. But majority of them, they haven't spent time in medical school. They haven't spent 5 years, 6 years to understand the body and how the body works, how different drugs interact, and then to get to a position where they can recommend a product to treat a certain indication. So, and I think to a greater extent, the healthcare professionals, we've taken a back seat, and then we've created a vacuum in terms of information.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of information, but there is a lot of support towards the public in terms of them making a judgment, which information is correct, which one is not correct. So they end up taking any information that they're given by influencers.
Yeah.
So coming back to ashwagandha, studies have been done to back its efficacy, but if you narrow down these studies, they are on specific extracts, on specific dose formulations, on specific strengths in specific population. So you'll find an influencer lands on one study that talks about the efficacy of ashwagandha, and then they go with that like it's a universe.
They run with it.
They run with it. It
They run
applies
with
to
it.
everybody.
Yeah.
And then someone who is stressed, maybe at work, they're having anxiety, they're on TikTok, scrolling, then they come across that content. They're likely to go and buy ashwagandha from someone who is marketing on TikTok.
Yes.
And you've mentioned something. Now I'm linking that up with regulation.
Yes.
So every product that is in the country, be it pharmaceutical, we have supplements, we have food supplements, we have ashwagandha, which nutraceuticals, they're regulated by the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. And they have different ways through which they are registered. And the surest way that the public can be assured that whatever product you're buying is registered and certified is, as you've mentioned, visiting an outlet that has been registered by Pharmacy and Poisons Board.
Yes.
There's what we call supply chain integrity.
Okay.
That you're able to trace a product that is at the shelf from the manufacturer. You know which manufacturer, because the batch numbers are there. Expiry dates are there. We have what we call dossiers for these particular products that state the manufacturing condition, because beyond just being natural, we have to ask ourselves, what was the manufacturing condition, quality assurance reports for this particular product, how are they transported, under which conditions, so that by the time someone is ingesting something, it's safe and efficacious for them.
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be my take, that when you visit an outlet that has been registered, of course, every product, because the Pharmacy and Poisons Board does routine inspections, to ensure that whatever is on the shelf is actually registered and is good for the public. So the safest net is visit an outlet that has been registered.
Agreed. Fantastic. The onus is on you also, as the viewer, as a person who is watching. If you're seeking that help, go to a place that is registered, like they have mentioned. Then you don't have to really wonder, is this product from here? Because they have done the background work for you. The regulator has inspected the premise for you. They have made sure that whatever is there is fit for purpose for your consumption. So if you buy on TikTok, please usitulaumu.
True.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, usitulaumu. Fantastic. Now let's jump to another one. Creatine. Creatine is now famous for the gym bros. Everyone who wants a six-pack, who wants to buff up, creatine is, gold standard for them. Again, I was doing a lot of, let me call it TikTok research. Research in the school of TikTok. And there's a lot of conversations, of course, on creatine and its benefits, especially the formulation creatine monohydrate. And I saw even beyond now, of course, its purported benefits of increasing muscle mass and causing your what is it called? Your efforts in the gym for the gym bros to be much more pronounced. I also saw it being advertised for women, even for pregnant women, for children, for aging populations, supporting brain function, the list is endless. And I even saw one saying there are absolutely no side effects, there's nothing negative, there's nothing wrong, because, and many times, and I think I'll caution the viewers this as well, many times when you watch these videos, you always see the person who is talking about that creatine is holding a brand, a specific brand of that creatine.
Yes.
They're talking about it as they're holding it in their hands like this. Like, think twice. Think twice and see, because of course, if he's paid to market, they are going to say nothing good, but nothing bad. I mean, but I wanted to turn this one to you, Dr. Libea. Talk to us a little bit about creatine, and is it purely beneficial, or is it being just oversold by people who maybe have a marketing agenda? Yeah, let's unpack that a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying it's interesting is because at some point I think I used creatine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was back in the days. I
Nice.
think around 8 years ago. I was still in campus at that time.
Yes.
And I was well, I'm a trained karateka, so I trained karate back in campus.
That's
That's amazing.
interesting.
We learn something new every day.
Something new, nice.
Yeah, and I think out of curiosity, I researched on it and I began using it for a short period of time, not for a long period of time.
Okay.
And so I have a bit of information about it. And what you've mentioned is quite interesting because that is a conversation that is happening online. I'll begin by first differentiating, because one of the things I've seen that people are not able to differentiate is between creatine and creatinine.
Yes.
Now, these are two different things. Creatine monohydrate, as you've rightly put, I mean, when you're using any pharmaceutical ingredient, is normally put in a salt form. Remember, back in high school, we used to be taught when you mix an acid
and a
with
base.
metal and
Yes.
acid, you get a salt,
Yes.
right?
You get a
So
salt.
in this case also, I mean, the most presentable form of most products are actually in form of salts.
Yes.
So in this case, the compound is presented as creatine monohydrate.
Hydrate.
That is just a compound, how creatine is presented so that it can be absorbed in the body.
All right.
And creatine and creatinine are two different things. Creatine is what you ingest. Normally, I mean, the primary purpose of creatine is to sort of give a boost when you're doing short, intense exercises. It sort of give your muscles a boost in terms of energy. There's a way it plays in terms of energy metabolism. So it finds its place there.
Right.
So it gives a boost instead of you just doing without it. So when you take creatine, you have extra energy to do extra lifts in terms of, especially in more intense exercises that you're doing over a short period of time.
Okay.
But it doesn't give you endurance. So you can't use it for exercises that require you to endure for long. So that is creatine. So once you've ingested creatine, it's broken down. In pharmacy, we call metabolism. So it's broken down now to creatinine, which is like a byproduct, if I may, of creatine once it has undergone transformation within the body. Now, we've seen people claiming that creatine sort of damages the kidney.
Yeah, and I was going to actually go there because there are some studies. Yeah,
They're saying it damages the kidney, right?
Yes.
But when you're diagnosing kidney damage, you don't use only one test. There has to be, in fact, for you to come up with a conclusion that actually the kidney is damaged, it has to be first in a clinical context. There are several tests you'll conduct, assess if it could be, perhaps the patient is taking other medications that could be affecting the kidneys.
Yes.
So you can't just bank on one test. And actually, the studies say that when you take creatine for exercise, the amount of creatinine that you pass out through urine increases by about 0.13 milligram per deciliter. So you're likely to see an increase, but that doesn't mean that your kidney is damaged because creatinine clearance is one of the tests that we use to establish if the kidney is damaged. So I think many people, when they see a bit of increase in creatinine clearance, they think now the kidney is not working properly after they have taken creatine, but it's expected. It's expected. That is with regards to exercise, and in fact is one of the most studies or among the most studied supplements in the sports science space. So it works in terms of short, intense exercises, in terms of helping people to have extra energy to lift more, and that of course now results in more muscles. In terms of cognitive use, that is now in elderly patients. I've also seen conversations around that space. But the study is quite interesting because the conclusion is it promises cognitive benefits, but doesn't mean, especially in elderly patients, but now what influencers do when they see that in one study, they run with it and they apply as a universe. So the public gets the information, it actually helps in cognitive, but there are no studies in younger people, there are no studies in children, in pregnant mothers to establish its benefit in that patient group or that population group. So people need to be careful. And I always fall back to this, that, anything that you're taking, whether to support, to prevent, or to support treatment, to prevent a disease or to cure a disease, please engage your healthcare provider, be it your doctor or it could be your pharmacist. Let's have a conversation with them because, the information given online is a highlight of a product, but behind that highlight, we have many things. There are excipients. These added ingredients in a product that could be affecting your health and you don't know. For example, someone who is lactose intolerant and maybe an added ingredient in a product is lactose. So that patient, if they don't consult a pharmacist, they may end up taking a product that has lactose and having side effects. So there are those conversations that need to be had before you buy any supplement online. See your pharmacist. Have a sit down with them. Be open. Share everything that you have in terms of supplements, nutraceuticals. Then let them guide you and advise you.
Phenomenal. That was excellent, very exhaustive.
Maybe I can just add on to what Dr. Libe has said in terms of creatine. So even if you're just taking it especially for women, it's been marketed nowadays, even for menopausal women, perimenopausal, because of course when you're that age, you start to lose muscle mass, etc. So that creatine, that's where it comes and helps now to preserve the muscle. So I think number one, to just look for creatine monohydrate. And if you're to take it, make sure you're taking 3 to 6 grams a day. And then just look for plain creatine monohydrate. A lot of products nowadays mix it with stimulants like caffeine and other products that make it now maybe a bit more dangerous. So be very intentional when you're looking for this product. Creatine monohydrate plain would be the best.
3 to 6
grams a day. So I think a lot of people worry about weight gain, which is usually just water retention in the body, but that will go over time.
Is it also indefinite dosing? Like you can use it like a supplement
you can use it as a supplement forever. But of course add it to your daily exercise. Don't just take it and think it's a magic cure. Make sure you're also eating well. Eating well, exercising, and it'll give you it'll boost you.
Fantastic. Great insights on creatine. I think that's very exhaustive on all fronts. Let's jump over to gut health.
Wow.
Let's jump over
another big one.
One of the hottest topics. Kwanza right now, I think our diets, the way we are eating, people are really suffering from bloating, indigestion.
IBS.
Yes, IBS has become very, very common. People are always running for or just running for these products which help to alleviate the bloating, but there's usually an underlying challenge. Even when I was practicing, that was, I think, the drug I used to sell the most, like because of stomach discomfort and stuff. And a lot of marketing has been done about prebiotics, probiotics, and what they do to restore your gut health. So maybe I can ask you, Dr. Barbara, maybe you can help us distinguish the prebiotics and the probiotics and how they are being used.
So gut health is a very big topic because our gut is like, we call it our second mind. It influences our mood, our immunity, and just how we feel generally. So even just to get to the facts, so what is a probiotic, number one, So a probiotic is basically just a beneficial live bacteria or yeast that lives in your gut. And prebiotic is basically what those probiotics eat. So it's basically the non-digestible food that the probiotics eat. So in terms of whether you should take a probiotic or not, it depends on what you're looking for. But if you're a general healthy person who eats a balanced diet, eats vegetables, fruits in your daily diet, I would not suggest a probiotic because the fruits and the veggies, the yogurt, the fermented foods will give you what your gut needs. When I'd suggest it is if you've had maybe an acute bacterial infection, maybe you've traveled or you've eaten something off, maybe for a few days after that, I'd suggest a probiotic to just get your gut back into health, to restore the good bacteria.
Maybe I can add something.
Yes, sure.
So thank you, Doc, for mentioning probiotic. Just to build on the probiotic aspect, I think one of the other things that people miss it is not knowing the different types of probiotics that are available and when to use them. So for probiotics, we have those are fungi-based and are those which are bacteria-based. And each of them has different where they're used. For example, and you've mentioned about bacterial infection. There's also what we call antibiotic-associated diarrhea, where now if someone is taking a broad-spectrum antibiotic or a very strong antibiotic, one of the side effects, because in the gut, as she's rightly mentioned, we have both the good bacteria and now when you have an infection, we have the bad bacteria. So when you give someone a broad-spectrum antibiotic, it ends up clearing almost everything. And so there has to be a restoration of gut microbiome for someone to resume normalcy in terms of digestion, their gut health, and all that. So most of the time, you'll find someone who is aware about probiotics and the role that they play, and they see have been given a broad-spectrum antibiotic, they purchase, they end up buying a probiotic, but they don't ask which one fits where. So they are given an a bacterial-based probiotic, and then they're taking antibiotics, which of course now will render the probiotic ineffective. So having that understanding, and that's why I think it's also very important for them to have a conversation with the pharmacist at the place of dispensing. I intend to take a probiotic, but I'm also on the side, I'm also taking these drugs. So which one will best fit in this particular scenario, instead of just buying over the counter or picking and just paying and going with it. So I thought that would be important to mention.
That's very, very helpful because, many times, like you've rightly mentioned, there are different probiotics, prebiotics for different periods of time. So you don't just buy one as a one size fits all. And that's where the place of professional expertise care comes in, because once you're able to explain, they're able to match you to the right product. Every time I go on antibiotics, I always need a probiotic post because of that antibiotic associated. It affects me. It doesn't affect everybody, but it affects me a lot. And I think I've made sure, like, you don't just take any. It won't work. It won't serve the purpose that it's supposed to serve. So I think that really helps. In maybe just a snapshot, if somebody wanted to know what advice you would give them for them to have a proper healthy gut. I like that you talked about also the foods, the
Yes,
natural foods,
natural
that we can eat,
foods.
fermented foods.
Yes.
What is just very quick advice you could give somebody who
Yes.
is looking to have a healthy
Yes.
gut? Yeah.
So if you just don't want to just reach for an antibiotic, that
Yeah.
yogurt, just have plain yogurt.
Yes.
I feel like the ones with flavors have a lot of additives.
Yes.
Add plain yogurt to your diet.
Yeah.
Sauerkraut, kimchi. Those things will really provide the good bacteria that
Yeah.
your body needs.
Yeah.
And also, if you are to buy a probiotic, maybe you feel like you're not getting enough from your diet,
Yeah.
then make sure the strength is correct. So go
correct,
for
yeah.
something with more than 10 billion CFUs.
Yes.
Just ask your pharmacist to check on the label.
Yeah.
Make sure also how you take it. Don't take it on an empty stomach. Take it after food with a fatty meal, or at least a meal with fiber.
Yeah.
And then lastly, don't take it with caffeine or tea or a hot product, because it tends to also damage the probiotic. So take it just with water at room temperature. Yeah, and that way you'll be able to experience the effects, the good effects.
Fantastic. Thank you. Now to one of my most favorite ones, because the way you said you used creatine, even me, there's a time I almost fell for this one. Detox teas.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
girls, we are so susceptible.
No.
We are so susceptible to this.
No.
Wow. I remember even me, I think I was in high school, and there was this slimming tea that was being marketed by a very big influencer. I don't think I need to, and I know she made a lot of money from that tea. And they're even very big brands currently.
Yes.
If you go to the shelves, you'll see in the supermarket, you'll see slimming teas, detox teas, even in a more kawaida version. I think many times if I when I'm driving, you hear the people who are marketing in the matatus, dawa ya kusafisha figo, dawa ya kusafisha damu. And you're like, ngoja kwanza. Dawa gani inasafisha? The one which is supposed to be purifying is the one which is
making.
Yeah. So I want us to talk a little bit about detox teas, slimming teas, and I'll point this to you, Dr. Libert. Number one, do they actually work? And does our body need detox teas?
That's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Maybe just make a disclaimer. It's one of the videos I shot in my YouTube channel, and I did it, I think, 2 months or 3 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about detox teas,
The products,
detox pills, the
Yeah.
products, and all that. I think one critical question that I need the public to be asking, whoever is selling them,
Yeah.
which toxins are we detoxing? That's one critical question.
And
Which
why?
toxin
Why are
and
we
why?
detoxing?
And
Number
how do
one.
you measure
Yes.
it? So that it warrants, I mean, this level of toxin is quite high, so you need to detox.
Yeah.
Which toxin are we talking about?
That's so
Good
funny.
question.
Yeah, good
So
question.
that's a question that I need the public to be asking, whoever is marketing.
Yeah.
Because one, I'll mention is that the body, the way it has been designed, it
Yeah.
has natural detoxing system.
Yes.
The body. Talk about the kidneys. Talk about the liver. Talk about the lungs, the skin. I mean, the body has capability to detox itself.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need any extra support. Support comes, medically speaking, when, let's say, we've noticed it could be maybe an organ that is not functioning properly. And of course, that can be established when there are tests that have been done to establish that. Then the doctor or clinician will recommend this and this and this. You can take this particular product to help in clearing this from your body.
Yeah.
For example, dialysis.
Yes.
When the kidneys fail,
Yeah,
now
true.
you need an
Exactly.
external support to detox the
Detox
body.
the body.
That's why you bring the
Body.
dialysis system.
Yes.
So what I've seen from the research I've done, and even from the videos, I captured that in the video, is, for example, slimming tea.
Yes.
There are those slimming teas that have senna
Senna.
Yes.
as an active ingredient. As we all
Yes.
know, in pharmacy, we were taught in pharmacognosy back in school,
Yes.
senna is a laxative.
Laxative.
And definitely, when you take slimming tea that has senna, you're likely to diarrhea.
Of course.
Yes.
And so when you're diarrheaing, it means you're losing weight, but it's not weight in terms of body mass.
water.
It's water that
It's
you're
water
losing.
weight.
Yes.
Water weight is what you're losing. And you're likely to gain that when you rehydrate. So it won't have done
Exactly.
anything.
Yeah.
So detox industry is big,
Huge.
quite huge, but the face or the system behind it is purely marketing. It's purely marketing. And to some extent, also as healthcare professionals, we have a responsibility. The vacuum that we left when we are not actively engaging in terms of sharing credible information. As I mentioned before, healthcare has been evolving. We've moved to a place where there's a lot of information, a lot of access to information.
Yeah.
But now the public is left at a place where they don't have a sieve that they can use to judge which information is credible,
correct.
And
which one is not credible.
Exactly.
So influencers and marketers have seen this as an opportunity and they've come in to cash on it. So when they say a detox product is able to do A, B, and C and D, someone who is desperately looking for a solution, they'll go for it.
True.
But having said that, what are the effects of taking these detox products without guidance from a medical professional?
Long term.
One is organ damage, because these products, as much as some of them may have beneficial effects to the body, but also the quantity that you take at any given time may have a negative effect in some of your organs because they pass through the body system. And in the long run, you find someone experiencing an organ failure. Why? Because they took a detox product a couple of months or years back. It's that serious. So my advice would be, if something cannot be measured, and even the marketer cannot point to a toxin that they're clearing from your body, and what is the level beyond which you term it as toxic, then it's just as simple as leaking glucose. Let me put it that way. It's just like any other product out there. It's not a healthcare product, and it may be putting you in danger. So that would be my take on it.
Fantastic. Do you want to?
No, as I like to put it, they're cute, expensive laxatives. That's all they are.
That's all
yes,
they are.
You're just paying for a
to-
product that'll make you go to the toilet. That's all.
To con you of your hard-earned
And
money. Your hard-earned money. So that you can finance somebody's glamorous lifestyle and they're selling you
100%.
a laxative. I like what you've mentioned as well, Libya, about how sometimes these products, they add something like senna. It cuts across many other things. Like we see even in this very famous Uji powers.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I've had experiences with that, and it's unfortunate. And unfortunately, our elderly parents back in the village, they're the ones who are the brunt of this. And I'll give you an example. There was a time I was practicing in community pharmacy. I was there for about 12 months, back in 2021. And I encountered several cases. And you go back to the village, even my own grandmother had the same experience. Someone was moving. I'll mention several examples. Back in the village, back in Western, I come from Western Kenya. So back in Western, there was someone moving in the villages with a gadget, a machine. And I think you've seen it in towns where someone pitches a tent beside the road and then they have a bioresonance machine, quote unquote, that is able to diagnose all systems of the body just through the palm of your hand. You place the palm on the machine, and then after 5 minutes, they've scanned your body. They tell you your liver is not okay, your kidneys are not okay, your gut is not okay. So you need these supplements. And they prescribe a list of 10 supplements, and they point you to a shop that they own to purchase those supplements. So I've seen that in the villages. They are moving with the machine homestead to homestead. So they tell my grandmother, you have hypertension, and these are the products you need to purchase. My grandmother was lucky because she quickly called me. And now I told her, don't spend your money on anything of those products. And so, and it's unfortunate because there are many other people that don't have that privilege of calling a healthcare professional within their family. So they end up purchasing and it's affecting them. Now, that is one scam that is currently happening. I always ask, if a machine can diagnose a patient full body scan within 5 minutes, why do we have medical schools?
True.
Why do you need to labor
hospitals.
5 years, 6 years? Why do you have hospitals? You could just take a machine, put in every office, let everybody scan their body in 5 minutes, then give them medication and we'll be okay. But that is not the case currently. Two, we have herbal formulations, and you've heard about that. Dawa ya kuosha figo, dawa ya kuosha all those jargons that they use. Unfortunately, what is happening is also, I'll call it crookedness, because I don't think someone who is sane will go to that extent to put people's life at risk. Now, I'll give you an example. For example, you've seen someone selling a herbal preparation to manage diabetes. What happens is they take a conventional medicine, could be metformin, which is a molecule. They crush the tablets, create a solution out of that, maybe add food color to make it green so that it look natural. And then they move around and sell that to unsuspecting public. Of course, when you take that concoction, your blood glucose will go down. And so that is proof of concept, quote unquote. So when, for example, I'm a diabetic patient, I've been taking conventional medicine, I meet this person who is selling a herbal preparation, I take a cup and I stop taking my diabetic medication, and then I take my glucose measurements and I see there's a drop, I say, this thing is working.
Yes.
So I'll continue using it. Now, the risk there is you don't know how many tablets they have crushed. So there's loss of control on dosage.
Oh, exactly.
And these products, I always say, medicines are poisons if not used within control. So if you use an extra dose, you put your organs at risk. Secondly, preparation environment. I mean, this is water that has been used, food color has been introduced. Sterility of the product is not guaranteed.
It's not.
And that
Exactly.
put the patient at risk.
Yeah.
So there are many things that are happening within the space. And when you look at the public, I mean, you feel pitiful for the public because they're
Exactly.
the ones who are receiving this unsuspectingly.
Yeah.
You talk about Uji Power. And they're crafty businessmen that have come in the space. So they take sildenafil, what is commonly known as Viagra,
Yeah.
put it in the Uji Power. You take it, you see the effect almost immediately, and they say this thing is working.
It's
Next day
very
you come for a dose.
Exactly.
And I mean, what is happening in the space
Yes.
is the patient's lives at stake.
Yes.
Yes, so that
Thank you
yeah,
for
it's quite unfortunate.
It's very
That's when you hear of
unfortunate.
stories of an otherwise healthy individual just
Yeah.
collapsing and
And die.
you wonder what happened and then
Yeah.
they'll do a history and then they'll find out, oh, he was taking these herbal supplements and then you'll find out that was most likely the cause.
It
And
was
yeah.
probably the cause.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you've highlighted some really excellent examples across the board. And yeah, buyer beware. This is why we do these conversations, that you can be
Yes.
informed, that somebody cannot take you for a ride
Exactly.
against your knowledge.
And if I could add, if you're to buy anything out there and you're unsure, take that packet, whatever it is, take it to your pharmacist,
Yeah.
your healthcare provider, your doctor.
Yeah.
Let them verify it for you.
Yeah.
Because you'll even find most of these products are packaged and there's no label.
Yeah.
It's just been put in a brown container bag
Yeah.
and you have no idea what's
What it
inside.
is.
So if you're unsure, please take it, carry it with you and, take it to somebody who knows what they're doing and they'll be
Yeah.
able to guide you from
Yeah,
there.
fantastic.
Yes.
Great. Now I want us to really escalate this. Just 2 more trends and then we call it a day.
Okay.
I think we have seen also, especially as healthcare providers, somebody is on 5 medications, 10 supplements, doing sijui what.
Yes, doing the most.
Just doing the most.
Yes.
Let's say you are doing
Yes,
the most.
yeah.
Your poor liver is tired. It's asking for a break.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Dr. Barbara, just talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay.
Just overdoing it when it comes to products looking for health. You're seeking health, but you're actually maybe stressing
your body.
Yeah, stressing your body. We
Okay.
can touch on that.
So in terms of what you're talking about is what we term in pharmacy as polypharmacy.
Yes.
When you're taking many medications at the same time or
Yeah.
regularly.
Yeah.
So number one, of course, more does not always mean better.
Yeah.
So if you're to take a supplement, why are you taking it in the first place? Have you gone to do a test to see if you actually need it? Are you deficient in something? So more isn't always better
Yes.
because the more drugs you're taking means there's a higher risk of adverse reactions.
Yeah.
There's a higher risk of drug interactions.
Yes.
So even as Dr. Libea said, we've moved from non-communicable diseases to more of chronic diseases. So a lot of people nowadays, you'll see they have diabetes, hypertension, so they're taking several drugs for that. And then maybe they'll go and add supplements on top.
Yeah.
So sometimes that might be too much for the body that can now cause adverse effects such as liver injury or kidney injury. So as a pharmacist, what I'd even advise you to do, we as professionals, we provide a service known as medication therapy management, where we'll ask you to bring all your medications. We'll do a comprehensive medication review. We'll ask you about what you buy over the counter, maybe your your paracetamol.
Yeah.
We'll ask you about the drugs that the doctor has prescribed for you, what herbal remedies you're taking, what supplements you're taking. And then now we'll review it and have a conversation with you and then figure out maybe you don't need A, B, C, D. Maybe we need to speak to your doctor and maybe increase a dose of something. And then we'll do an intervention, maybe speak to your provider, and then come up with an action plan.
Yeah.
So that way we're helping you. You might go home and find, actually, I didn't need a supplement after all, or I needed this drug to be, a dose to be added or reduced.
Yes.
That way we're making sure you're covered. You're not overdoing it or underdoing it.
Underdoing
We're
it.
leaving you at your most optimum health. So we're basically optimizing your medicine therapy.
Fantastic. Thank you
Yes.
for that. That actually is a discipline practiced by pharmacists who actually are specialized. They're called clinical pharmacists, and it's something available. If you have a grandmother, somebody who you feel, or even a parent who has many diseases, comorbidities. They have hypertension, diabetes, arthritis. They have many things and they're managing. It's definitely a service that you can explore with Pharmacist. And like Shah said, it helps you to optimize your health so that you don't have maybe one condition being treated by 3 products that could be optimized to have one product.
Yes.
Fantastic. Dr. Libea, I want us now, as we are bringing this episode to a close soon, there's a big belief and a notion with a lot of people that imported drugs are better, stronger, more efficacious. So you have people coming and asking for a specific brand. And I want us to just cast a bit of light on this and demystify. Are imported drugs better than local drugs, or specific brand names, the original, stronger, better, it will cure you faster than the generics? Let's talk a bit about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, I think it's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
And I'll make an attempt because I cannot exhaustively be able to unpack everything. I'll make an attempt to unpack it. But before I do that, maybe just to make an addition to what Dr. Barbara has mentioned.
Yes.
Actually, according to WHO, the cost of medication errors is estimated to be around 42 billion USD annually. And that is about 1% of the total global health expenditure.
Yeah.
So it's quite costly. And if you look at the leading causes of death, it ranks number 3. Yeah, it ranks number 3. So it's quite serious. The medicines, the pills you pop, it's good that you take them under the guidance of someone who is qualified and licensed to actually give you that advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But having mentioned that, allow me switch now to the question you've asked. And I think there are many terms that are normally used that are not clearly understood.
Yes.
One is when you hear the terms such as generics versus originals, which one is better?
Yes.
Now, in school, we were taught about drug development process. And there are those companies that invest heavily in drug development, including research to discover molecules that can work. And they spend quite a fortune to do that. And back then when we were being taught, before AI came, I think now the time has shrunk, where the time taken, right?
Yes.
For drug development. But it was estimated to be around 10 years for a molecule to actually be tested and ascertained. This can actually treat this indication.
And about $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Minimum. Yes, minimum.
It's quite expensive affair. And so once a molecule has been discovered and it has been registered and certified to treat a certain indication, the company which invested that minimum $1 billion and a minimum of 10 years to discover that particular molecule, they're given 20 years of sort of monopoly or patent to just produce, market, and sell the product. So those ones we normally refer them as original molecules, but we call them originator molecules. So that is, pack it on a shelf somewhere. And then we have generics. So once a patent has expired, the 20 years has lapsed. So it's opened up. Any other manufacturing company, pharmaceutical manufacturing company, can easily pick the molecule and then do modifications, call a different name, and produce. So generics, if for example we have product A and there's a generic and an original, both have what we call an active ingredient. But when it comes to added ingredients that may give color, may give flavor, taste, might be different, but the active ingredient is the same. That is one. Two, by the time you have a molecule in the Kenyan market and it has found itself or its way to the shelf of a pharmacy that has been registered and licensed by the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, it means it has been registered. And the Pharmacy and Poisons Board cannot register a molecule if they haven't ascertained a few things, including taking the molecule to a laboratory to test certain parameters. So it means by the time either a generic or an original molecule finds its way to a pharmacy, some certain parameters have been established by the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, including safety, efficacy, and the quality of the product. So you can be guaranteed when you walk into a pharmacy that molecule has been registered by the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, you can be guaranteed of the quality, safety, and efficacy
of the product.
And then we have imported and locally manufactured products. Is not necessarily about the country of origin. That wouldn't be my concern, but my concern would be the registration status, the manufacturing environment. Is it certified? Because before Pharmacy and when they're registering a molecule, they have to also inspect the facility that will be manufacturing it to check if it meets a minimum certain criteria, what we call good manufacturing practices or GMP certification. So it's not necessarily that imported are better than local, it's all about those parameters. Have they been adhered
met?
to?
Yeah.
And has the molecule been registered by the Pharmacy and Poisons Board? And is it being stocked by a registered facility? Once those have been met, it doesn't matter whether you go with a specific brand or a different brand. As long as it has been prescribed by the doctor and they're sure it's of good quality, based on perhaps they've looked at the status, registration status, there are queries that have been raised, safety concerns about the product. If there are none, and the doctor tells you, take this, and the pharmacist also tells you, this is a good molecule, then you're rest assured.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Wow. That is now a lot of content knowledge for you people to process, and just the underlying factor is it's not whether it's from Pakistan, from India, from the UK, and the baseline is all the factors that he has mentioned. How has it been manufactured? Is it licensed? Is it regulated? That's what matters. And generics also came into the market to increase access and affordability, because a lot of people may not be able to afford the originator molecules, the brands. And so, yes, I know there are people who definitely prefer to stick to a certain brand, but the underlying point is that it does not mean that if you use a specific brand that is not maybe the original, that it's not going to work for you. Yes.
If I can also add this, they also do bioequivalent studies, which basically just tell you that it'll also work the same way as the brand in the body.
Yes.
So it'll still work the same way.
Yes. Fantastic. I think we've been able to cover so much. Almost 100% sure we are going to need a part 2.
Yeah, I think even vaccines maybe should be a part 2.
Yeah, we can definitely discuss other trends, but this has been so insightful. Thank you so much, Dr. Libert. Thank you so much, Dr. Barbara,
Dr. Sonia,
for coming to the set of Inside the Capsule and unpacking some of these trends. And for you, our viewers, we hope that you have picked something. Please feel free to utilize the comment section below. Ask whatever questions you may have. We will definitely have a segment where we are answering questions. You'll get free expert advice. These people in other settings, you will pay highly
Definitely.
to hear their opinions. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching Inside the Capsule, and we will see you next time on the next episode. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.